We're live. Yeah.
Welcome back. So we are in still within the second episode of Volohin Winds of War. We have just concluded a chase across the desert by a giant bone snake, which resulted into escaping into a small stone ravine, where within, after a rest, we met a Nothic, a strange one-eyed magic creature that was staring at some invisible stranger, some sort of invisible stalker, perhaps, in the ravine that just wanted a magic item. Wanted a crown, couldn't find the crown, but a helmet sufficed. And
I
now
had
they've
to
all
give
gone
up
off.
my +1 to AC. It was tragic. I'm telling you, it was tragic. It was
He is
tragic.
shed.
It was a tragedy.
Upon returning to the town of Bunstead, you restocked the caravan, and Silin and Villarin helped pack it and load everything up. And the caravan is now ready. However, just before leaving, is there anything that people want to do in the town of Bunstead? We'll say you've got 3 hours before the caravan leaves.
I just want to do some minor shopping. I would like to purchase a second backpack, so I'm not like I can basically put all my other gear in it, what little gear I have, and that way I can just like put my money like on one of the caravans and just like leave it there. And then I want to buy, so I want to buy a second backpack. I want to buy a few rations, and then grab a few potions.
Okay. Could you make me an investigation skill check?
Okay.
You can see
14.
14?
Yeah.
Okay. You can see that a backpack would set you back 3 gold pieces here,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
whereas a lockbox, somewhere to just store your gold, something of a sufficient size, would set you back 5 gold.
Oh, yeah, that, I would much rather have, I guess, like a chest or a lockbox. Especially if I don't have to, if I'm not carrying it.
Yeah. So this will be basically the chest as it is in the player's handbook, but have a flat top rather than an arched
That's fine.
thing.
That's fine. Yeah, so I just put chest in there, and so that was 5 gold.
Mhm.
Okay, so, okay. So yeah, that's
notice
now
that the-
in,
Yeah. So you notice that the backpack is more expensive than you'd normally find it. You do find a small alchemy shop just to the outskirts of town that you're eventually directed towards while you're looking for this sort of thing, that claims that it does sell potions. But you get there, and you find that it doesn't sell potions per se. It sells tinctures and ointments. You can essentially buy alchemy supplies, healing kits.
are there healer kits?
Healer kits, yes.
I'm gonna buy a few healer kits. Yeah, I'm gonna buy a few healer kits. So,
Okay.
I'm going to set about, how much are healer kits normally?
Healer kits are normally 5 gold, and
5
they will
gold.
be sold here for 4 gold.
Okay. So they're here for 4 gold, and so I'm gonna go up to them and I'm thinking about buying some healer kits. If I buy multiple healer kits, can I get a discount for more healer kits?
The person behind the counter, he's about 6.5 feet tall, entirely clean shaven, not
Right.
a hair or bit of stubble anywhere on him. He seems to lean forward a little, as if he's worrying about what you're saying. You can see the confused expression on his face. Then some old lady comes out from behind, sort of bats him away kindly, and climbs up a bit of a step ladder to get up to a decent level behind the counter.
Right.
discount?
Yeah. In most proprietaries, what they do is, if you buy one, it's a price. If you buy 5, it's a price but a little less for buying more.
You get more of my stuff and I get less of the money.
Right. It's an incentive for me to buy more. Because if I normally buy 1, then you only sell 1. But if I buy 5 for a minor discount, you've sold more wares and made more money overall.
You take 6.
How much for 6?
3 and a silver.
300 silver?
3 gold and 1 silver per healer's kit.
3 gold, 1 silver? Okay. Yes.
She opens a massive ledger, notes something down in ink, looks at you, notes something else down, closes the ledger, and then goes and fetches them for you and puts them in a little wooden basket. Hands them to you.
I would like to inspect them for quality.
Sure. Give me a perception check.
Oh, hell yeah. 20 total, not natural.
They look comprehensive enough. This is quality ingredient. You can tell that a lot of this is locally sourced. This is like dried roots and herbs from the nearby area, but it looks to be complete healer kits.
Okay, cool. I am down with it. So, let me just do something really quick.
Would I be able to? Sorry. Would I be able to find someone in Boonstead? Because I bought this thing in Boonstead. I'm going to try and find the same place that I bought it. Because I ran into Villarin at that shop where I was looking for healing potions. And then, everyone else bought all the other potions. And I only got this one dusty, mysterious potion.
You bought that in Twin Harbor.
No, wait,
Yeah.
I did? Wait, no, because I ran... Because that was the thing, is that I ran into Villarin at the...
At Twin Harbor. You bought it around, before I bought my cards.
Oh.
Because I had an equally shifty looking person.
Because we start... Yeah, okay. I'm getting it now.
Yeah. Okay.
So, can I find anyone that can possibly identify that? Like, maybe I end up in the same place that Okrim does?
Yeah, you'll
or-
be able to track down the same place because Okrim's been there. Yeah. So
You just come with me, essentially.
Yeah, for sure. And while I'm at it, I'll pay them 4 gold for 1 healer kit.
she graciously accepts your gold and then casts a stink eye towards Okrim.
Be a better negotiator, not my fault.
Don't say that out loud to her.
No. No, of course not.
So Eigner, showing the bottle to her, help her identify it.
Yeah, that I would really like her to identify this thing.
Okay. Could you then give me an Arcana skill check with advantage, Eigner?
Mm-hmm.
The advantage being you have help from this lady.
Yeah, let's see. I've got a +0, but that helps. The advantage. How does a 12 strike you?
A 12 strikes me rather fine.
Uh-huh.
She takes the bottle, tries to peer through the dirt and grub on the side of the bottle, gives it a bit of a waggle next to her ear. Then she pulls out the stopper, tips some onto her finger, and rubs it onto her gums. Puts the stopper in, hands it back to you. It's good vinegar.
That's all it is?
It's got some minor qualities to it. Bit of taproot weed. Spider's legs, yes.
So what?
This will either be a
a coating for salad, or possibly a potion of spider climb. One of the two.
Okay. Well, that helps immensely, actually. Thank you. I will be putting it on my next salad.
Very good. Be sure to liven up the party either way.
Oh, yeah.
Put some spider climb potion on a salad, and next thing you know, everybody's climbing the walls.
Uh-huh.
The group salad, you go to Olive Garden and you just drop the.
All right, so Eridu will be looking for another set of decent quality traveling clothes, considering that the pair he was wearing on the way to this journey got all torn and ripped up at some point, like after a fall of some kind.
Yes. There are plenty of garment places around. From the looks of it, it seems that Boonstead is primarily like a beer and clothes town.
No, so I can find some good wares. He'll aim for something a little more fancy, still comfortable to travel in, but with a little bit of to it.
Okay. You'll easily be able to find that sort of thing. The price will be quite reasonable as well. We'll say clothes. You're looking for some fine clothes, was it?
Traveler's clothes.
Traveler's clothes.
But we can call them fine because they'll be like, you know.
Traveler's clothes, they'll sell for 1 gold piece.
Okay.
Half the
Because
usual
fine clothes are
price.
different. They're usual. That's a different type of clothes.
Oh yeah, no, I totally get it. Yeah, he'll see that, and as he's looking at this outfit and talking to the shopkeeper about it, he'll see a nice cloak. It looks pretty well, pretty thick, pretty with that.
It's
I
very
cannot
pretty.
think of a great adjective. Pretty is the only thing coming out of my mouth. So he'll say, if we throw in the robe, I can make it 2 gold.
He'll talk you down and say 1 gold and 3 silver. That the cloak won't serve you if you're heading north, and if you're heading south, that you'll find finer cloaks. You do notice that the cloak seems to be made almost from a single piece of some animal's hide, with the fur still attached, although it seems to be decent enough quality to you.
Is the fur attached in a way that makes it like a fur cloak almost? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. He says, very well, as long as you accept some gratuity.
Always.
And then I will pull out 2 gold coins and hand them to him.
Accepts it gracefully. You are now the proud owner of a fur coat and some traveler's clothes.
Damn right. I'm going to find the nearest waste bin and drop my... No, I'm going to go find somebody who looks like they're kind of like living in the dumpster on the streets and give my torn clothes to them.
There certainly don't seem to be a shortage of vagrants in Boonstead, so you can easily find one.
And really, like, at the end of the day, these clothes aren't like torn and tattered. It's like, I think it was when we squimped through that little opening. I think they got a little torn.
Minor. Yeah.
It's very minor. So they're still, and they were pretty nice in the way of traveler's clothes.
Eridu cares very much about how he looks. We all understand.
Yeah, no, we get that.
Yeah.
Right. After all your shopping, Silent storms around the town trying to find you. In fact, she does so before the time that you'd agreed to all arrive there. She seems overly anxious to leave. And she gathers you all onto the wagons and sets off. The journey back to Twin Harbors, or rather, back in that direction.
I
You're
have things
told-
I want to do on this journey too, just so you know.
You're told as you are setting off that there's a planned detour, and that you will get to Twin Harbors, but they will be heading first to a fort off-road. It'll probably take about 2 months to get there, and then a further 2 weeks to get from there back to Twin Harbors.
Wow. Yeah, this has been a long-term one. It's been interesting.
I'm gonna cast a quick look over at Okrim's direction and just see how he's taking that.
That we're going off road.
No, that
we
we're going to
just
be...
extended our trip for another 2 months.
Oh,
Essentially
You
doubling
know-
the journey.
yeah. I'm not gonna argue. Roll an insight check if you want to know more than that.
I can't turn down an insight check.
I don't know if I want to know more than that.
I get 17 to peer into your soul.
Sounds pretty decent.
I'm waiting to see what.
Are you...
Are you inciting Asa?
No.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I had to step
No.
away and get my coffee, but before I did
Sorry.
that, I said I don't want to insight because...
Oh,
Nah.
I didn't hear you
I
mess with
apologize.
it.
I think that's
It's okay.
twice now that you've said something and I've just not heard it, and I apologize.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am annoyed that I'm visibly annoyed, and it's obviously like whenever we start to diverge off the path, I like look down on the way to Twin Harbor. Like I want to get back there, but at the end of the day, money's money.
Yeah.
And so I'm going along for right now.
Mm-hmm.
If there are any travelers on the other way, I'm going to, as I often do, send a message and money to let Emily know that there has been an unexpected reroute that I am not pleased with, but I know she'll understand.
Okay.
I will take a moment and speak with Silent about this. We did not negotiate this additional journey originally. Can I ask what is the purpose?
The purpose is to take the body, take it to the fort, where the ritual will be performed, and we would enjoy an escort back, although at the point where we reach the fort, your duties will essentially be completed. We could pay you then, and we could part ways.
Well, I can only speak for myself, and I've already made the agreements that I will be part of the interrogation, or I guess the communication with this deceased man. But my companions might be looking for a little more compensation for this extra travel time. Some of us have families and lives outside of being on the road all the time. Perhaps this is something that we should consider introducing to our payment.
It is something that I can bring up with the general. I'd imagine that he'd be amenable to such a thing.
It is not a matter of disrespect. Simply, when a job is presented, typically you make agreements based on the information given. When that information changes as the journey progresses, sometimes compensations must be made.
Indeed. I do regret that we've had to keep some things from you, but we do have enemies afoot.
Yes, I also am not keen on the secrecy between us, especially given that we are a kind. And what happens with one of us happens with all of us, if you know what I mean.
Yes, of course. I do apologize, Eridu. It's not something that I take too lightly. It's unfortunate that my father has particular demands of us on this mission.
It
But-
might do you to remind your father that there was a time when our species, our kind, kept secrets, and that it broke us in a way, and that's why there are some who now live separate from all the rest of us. And
You fill me with fear.
as I say this, I do kind of finger my sword a little bit, jingling the what's purple?
Tassels.
Purple is amethyst.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amethyst can be a variety of colors, but purple's is the most common one.
Fingering the amethyst pearls at the end of its at the tassels on the handle. Can you tell me a little bit about your own time serving the military?
Yes. And she will begin discussing this with you.
Yeah.
You will get a good week before there's any significant changes in your path. So you're continuing along the same road.
I haven't talked about this aspect, and I'm keeping it a little bit that way. But do I need to make a roll for that?
No. I'll leave that up to you.
Okay. Yeah, I would say that as she's talking about a military history, Eridu definitely recognizes some of the places to which she has been sent to, because he also served in similar battles, sometimes on the other side.
While you're
That would
journeying,
have been hundreds of years ago, by the way.
yes.
Yeah, we get it. You guys are old.
She doesn't make much comment on it, being quite reserved about her own military experience. As the journey goes on for about a week, it's here that she starts scouting ahead rather than sticking with the caravan. She doesn't mention any particular need, just that she's been quite cautious. And while she's away, Vilren gets very, very nervous. But after about a week, you then notice that there's a fork in the path. Left one continues along the side of the river and takes you towards Twin Harbors, taking another couple of weeks to get there. The one to the right starts leading you away into the heart of the mainland. And that's where the wagons turn.
If I have a moment alone with Vilren, I'd like to ask him about I'd like to point out to him that I've noticed he seems very concerned whenever Silent is doing something that might be considerably dangerous.
He expresses a great deal of concern, and that he's worried that the discovery that they've made, the fact that they found this body and they're transporting it back, this is going to be very dangerous, and that people will be out to get them.
I see. And what sort of danger do you expect that we will come across?
I wouldn't like to venture to say, just...
Do you have reason to believe that there would be more drow that would be searching for us? It was, after all, their temples that we desecrated.
I would imagine they'd work through agents, perhaps. Possibly dwarves. I don't know. Maybe they'd hire some bandits along the roads. Humans, maybe.
But you feel that the end result would come from those people.
Yes.
Don't ask me what I mean by those people.
Yes, it would certainly be those. They would have the incentive behind it. I know we've not found anything yet. Just I'm not comfortable until we get back to the fort.
Understandable. Did we already establish how long ago Zarkon was a king? And I forgot the name of the current Tackentire that we are, the corpse.
So the it was ages ago. After the last war, so I think we'd established that it was 1,000 years ago. Was it?
Older than me, for sure.
Yes.
Cool.
It was around the time that we did the sort of prequel session, wasn't it?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was around the war. It is Talon that you have the skeleton of. Jalin is the general and father to Silin.
Noticing a pattern in naming.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's a naming convention.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like Pokemon.
But I mean, they're Tackentires, so they're all to be related anyway.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So we kind of knew that. All right.
What? Silent Tackentire is evolving. Dun, 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 dun,
I'm
dun,
just saying,
dun, dun.
Matt Choke, Mac, Mac Chop, Mac Champ.
Yeah.
I gotcha. Naming conventions are similar. Oh man. All right. So.
As you begin to diverge through this other path, you notice that there's a lot more in the way of trees overhanging over the path. There are several villages and towns that you skirt around the outside of, but none that you go into. Silent is being quite cautious and says that they're not going to make any stops with the wagons. And when you do stop, she will ask one or two of you to go into town, pick up a few more supplies, and come back to do so. When she does this, who would like to go into the town?
I mean, I'll do it. I'll do it at least once just to get an excuse to stop by a tavern and sneak a pint.
I'll go into town.
Yeah.
Being that that's my primary role in general is to be a face to any organization. So that's what I did on the Tranquility. So I will always be the one to volunteer to go into town.
Okay.
Plus, I'm an ASMR, and these are my lands.
So what we'll say then is that the bulk of the conversation with Villarin takes place between Eridu and Villarin while Eigner and Okrim are going to this village. Okrim, I would like to ask you for a charisma-based investigation check. So if you're
Okay.
proficient in investigation.
Yeah, no,
you get
yeah,
bonus, yeah. Eigner,
I am not.
could I ask you for a perception check?
Yeah. Damn straight you can. Damn straight I'm a rocket.
17.
17.
13.
Okrim, you managed to pick up several stories around here, several bardic tales, which just generally add to your repertoire of things. But you also pick up more of the history of the lands that you're going into, more of the sort of inland legends that may have escaped you during your nautical voyages. Along the way, you're picking up that there's a lot of fortifications nearby, but most of them are just abandoned. They don't hold a garrison, so they're not well kept. But they're still functional. But just people have sort of left the safety of the garrisons because it's relatively safe, and that most of the time you'll get like guard huts in the towns now.
Right.
As part of that. But it does occasionally lead to bandits when they realize that the nearby keep is empty, might move in.
Right.
So, as well as that, I would like to make a note that the next history check that you make,
Mhm.
I'd like you to add double your proficiency to it, but just for the next one. So you have expertise for the next history check you make.
Okay, nice.
Eigner, you spot some shadowy figure on a rooftop that you sense is looking at Okrim, but it disappears very quickly.
Okay. Is this before or after I've gotten my pint?
This will be after you've gotten your pint.
This is after I've gotten my pint. And by 1 pint, I mean it was at least 2 pints. Eigner has
Probably
a...
closer to 4.
Hey, if you haven't noticed, Eigner has a problem. For him, it's not a problem, but he has a problem. But anyways, so he's
sorry, not sorry.
so he's going to stumble over, like, because he has an idea of where Okrim is right now. He's going to stumble over and try to be subtle, but maybe be not too subtle, and just say, like, some guy was staring at you. As he's staring at him, he's going to say,
Just like that, like Batman.
some guy was staring at you.
I'm Okrim.
No, I'm Eigner.
I'm Agner.
There's so many questions I have. Like, what do you mean some guy was staring? I mean, are we talking about, like, some guy is, like, checking out my butt?
No, not like that. Not like that. It was dangerous. It was dangerous. It was some guy on the roof, shadowy. I couldn't really see him. He ducked away, but he was staring at you.
Okay, that somehow makes it worse. Not that, I mean, I just don't, in a conversation context, you just walking up to me and saying that some guy's staring at me, a guy checking out my butt versus some shadowy figure is, worse, in context of how you approached it.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
next time being like, hey,
it's-
there's this guy who is in the shadows spying on you. Maybe a better way to approach this.
Okay.
We have to work on your communication skills.
Yeah, sure, whatever. I had a pint. Give me a break, and maybe we should just get out of here. Are you all done?
Insight check.
Are you all done?
Oh, never mind. I don't know if he's drunk.
Okay. I had one, and let's go. I'm finished.
Okay. Yeah, let's go.
All right, we're gonna book it as fast as we can back to the caravan.
You get back to the caravan just as Silent has returned from a scouting mission, just doing a perimeter, and she saddles up the rest of the caravan and sets off.
All right. Hey, we don't know if it was Eridu or not. That was the point. It was a shadowy figure.
Well, Eridu's just assumed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if Eridu was around and you walked around to Okrim and was like, "Hey, dude, some guy's staring at you," you'd be like, "Yeah, he's right there.
Seriously.
He's staring at you too, buddy."
Yeah.
That's
So
just assumed.
yeah. So anyhow, so I guess we just get going. We got the supplies, avoided the mysterious stranger, and
So you continue along the journey for another week, and that's when the rains start. It rains for 3 solid days
Oh,
before you get
miserable.
even a moment's break from it. And then it starts raining again. So as it's raining on the 4th day, very heavily, you notice that there's a chill in the wind and a rustle in the trees. These trees are starting to get taller, their branches thicker, and the leaves evergreen. Anything could be hiding in these trees.
At this point, Eridu will even be actively scouting and kind of sneaking along and doing his part as well.
one of these scouting missions, I would like you to give me a perception check.
I can do that.
With
I
this?
can roll a 1.
Wow.
I see trees, and oh god, more trees.
Yeah.
And rain.
With
Would
this,
we all be making? Because I would assume we would all go on like rotations of scouting missions.
Oh, that is most unlucky. I say most unlucky. Before I continue, in fact, part of the rest and the journey and everything, as we discussed last time, I would like to do a bit of a level up. So I would like everyone to get to level 3 in terms of hit points and hit die. If you've got any abilities that just bump up, like you do a bit more damage with a thing, or you get an extra use of a thing, then have those. But there was a request.
None of our
archetypes.
Yeah, none of our archetypes, none of our like. I get expertises and more proficiencies and abilities. So none of that. Just the hit level up, and then that's it.
Mhm.
Yeah. So more just you guys are getting a bit buffer, but you've not had the time to train properly.
Okay.
Correct.
So we're just like level 3 now.
Yep.
Minus our specialization.
Wait, do I get deflect missiles, or is that one I'm still gonna?
If that's a part of without choosing anything, if that's automatic. Oh, would it be? Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say that you could explain that as a natural extension of you
Wow,
getting
Tom.
faster and.
I wanted to grab the shit out of that spear when it was thrown at the Nothic, and I'm like, I'm not level 3 yet. All right, cool.
Okay.
Over the journey, Eridu's been like, just throw stuff at me, guys. Just throw stuff at me.
I want to practice. He's there just constantly walking with an apple strapped to his head, just hoping for passing archers.
Somehow I managed to roll a natural 8 on my, or I rolled an 8 on my HP bump too. So
Nice.
at this point, I might have about as much health as Eigner does.
Nah.
I have 30.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and stick with
actually, that's
average.
more than me.
I was like, what would happen if I actually rolled? Oh, 2 1s? No, I'm just gonna stick with average and keep it going for the rest of the game because I can't roll for shit.
Right.
For sure.
I just like the fun of it. Like, you know.
Yeah.
It definitely can be fun and make the game a little bit different.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So just to clarify, Eridu's wearing traveling clothes. Agna, would you be wearing your
cloak?
full armor?
Yeah, I've got chain, but I've got like really simple, actually handmade clothes, like underneath, and I've got an extra set with me as well. So
Okay.
depending on like whether or not we're resting or we're traveling, I can be comfortable either way.
Okay. So yeah, this will be partway through the traveling portion of it. So you'd be armed and armored,
Yeah.
essentially. And Okrim, it's leather you're wearing? Huh?
I have leather armor. I'm wearing I have fine clothes, and that's it. So I'll be during the day. I'll be trudging around in my clothes, and at night I will hang them up near a fire, naked, basically.
Right.
Like, except for like obviously like clothes, like if my underwear is dry, like basically wearing that. So basically only sticking with the dry stuff, and then drying it overnight and then putting it back on during the day.
So you guys have been putting up with Okrim's strip teases of an evening.
Oh man, he's
and-
gonna
No
do
problem
what
for
he's gonna
Eridu.
do. Yeah.
I wear fine clothes, and nobody told me we were traveling this long and this far. So, fuck you guys. I present myself.
During the day, Eridu joins Silin on a little scout about. On the return journey, you can see the caravan, and as you see the caravan, you also see a small volley of arrows erupt from one side of the tree line. 2 of the arrows land on the wooden deck of one of the wagons. A 3rd arrow, unfortunately, strikes across Okrim's ankle, drawing the slightest bit of blood, but 'tis but a scratch.
Do any of them come near my apple? Still on my head?
You take 3 hit points of damage,
I've been waiting
Okrim.
for this.
So, we're in combat. What do people want to do?
Roll initiative. Oh.
So can you tell me just generally, like, so we have the caravan, it's like about how many wagons are involved in this whole section of the fight?
So there are 4 wagons. Each of them have mules pulling them. Sorry, no, it wasn't mules. It was draft horses.
Draft horses.
So you've got those. 3 of the wagons are covered. They've got a canvas topper to them. The 4th one just is loaded with stuff. It's an open-topped one. You've got Silin and Eridu on horses about 40 feet away from the caravan in front. The caravan is 40 foot away from them. Behind you, you've just got a straight path that goes on for a couple of miles. You've got trees on either side that go up about 50 feet, and that's where the arrows seem to have come from. It's also raining heavily.
Yeah. So where, which wagons got hit, and where am I in relation to them?
The wagon that Okrim was on, so I'll leave it up to you guys where you were on which wagon, basically.
Where would Okrim be? Would he be?
Wait, how many wagons were there again?
There were 4.
4? The second one.
Second one from the front.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, depends on which direction Salin and I are coming in from, as to whether we'd be at the front of the caravan or the back.
So you're in front of the caravan.
Okay.
Okay. So you guys are about 40 feet away, or maybe like 50 feet away from Okrim. And I'm going to say that I would be trailing a little behind that. I'll be around the 3rd wagon, because I would want to like cover have the option to cover the most ground. So I'm probably like 60 feet away from Eridu, 10 feet away from Okrim.
That's about right. So, now you've got a rough idea of where things are. What do people want to do? You've got unseen assailants firing arrows.
I will...
Well, say unseen assailants, actually. They need to reroll their stealth checks.
For sure. Well, I say we need to round up in a defensive position.
You can see one of them.
Is it the one that hit me?
Yes. You can see that it's an archer cloaked in black clothes with a dark face shooting a bow and arrow. Seems to be a short bow.
Dissonant Whispers. Yeah. Dissonant Whispers.
Okay, so Dissonant Whispers. Kyle?
I'm going to, I guess, do like a dodge action or something.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess I'm
Gives
going
a
to do some...
disadvantage.
Yeah. I'm just going to try and like get into a defensive position, and I'm going to cover one side of the caravan, and hopefully, let's say I'm covering the caravan that's having the body, because I'd be wanting to be like, I would want to defend the most valuable thing in the caravan. So I'm just going to try and cover the side of that, and if one of those guys gets into my range, then I'll do some crazy reaction and maybe use an action surge and go rush after him or something like that.
Alright. So dodge, protecting the body, and then waiting to see what
Wait and see what happens.
What shakes out.
Yeah.
Eridu.
Okay, well, what is Salin doing at the moment?
Silin seems to be drawing her sword and ready to charge forward towards the caravan.
Okay, I will take my hint from her, and I'm gonna stay next to Silin and fight in the manner to which elves typically fight together.
Okay.
Which is...
you know, We don't usually use shields, so it's not like a failing style. I think elves would typically fight in sort of a pincer fashion, where they would end up just kind of both going on a flank of an enemy. So if she's going to go towards the caravans, I'm going to kind of follow her. But if she's going towards one of the enemies she can see, I'm going to take a route where we'll be able to take the opposite ends of that enemy.
All right.
So basically creating a whatchamacallit?
A
Yeah,
pincer
flanking
maneuver.
maneuver. Yeah, the will flank for the terms of rolling advantage.
Oh, well, yeah, for rule basing. Yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically flanking whichever target she goes for and attacking.
Yep. And then I'm going to... I will not draw my sword, but I'll give him a 1, 2, 3. I've got the K points for it.
Spear counts as a monk weapon, doesn't it?
I don't have the spear anymore.
Oh, did you not pick it up?
No, after it got launched at the Nothic, I never grabbed it.
Dude.
You said all the little things got thrown off of it, and I just didn't grab it.
Okay.
I assumed, as a player, I assumed that its magical powers were deconstructed, but apparently I was wrong.
You were wrong because it was still so shiny. He talked about how shiny.
Yeah, he did
it
talk about how
was.
shinier it was.
It's very
actually.
shiny, and shiny things
that's
are
true.
always magical.
Well, I'm not a crab, man. I'm not always trying to collect the shiny. The two of us with children will get that reference.
All right, so do
Moana's
we
an
do
amazing film.
we do
So,
initiative rolls?
everyone roll for initiative.
Okay.
Oh my god,
Oh, I got a 6.
I got a 2.
Yeah.
17.
We are on it tonight. It's not even nighttime
Well,
here.
I am.
Mm.
17.
Before any of you were able to think, another volley of arrows rains down.
Great.
Roll above 5, thank you. All of them striking the sides of the wagon. One of them flying towards Eigner, but he manages to bring his shield up just in time.
Mm-hmm.
Dissonant whispers, you say?
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. So did one of the arrows? So I blocked one that was going for me. Would you allow me the ability to try and block one that would hit the caravan or whatever? Or like,
So this will be an arrow that's like torn through the
Yeah.
fabric
Yeah.
inside. So it's almost by happenstance, but just quick reflexes. Yeah, you'll be able to then quickly just nip outside, block
Okay.
one that would have come towards the
Ping!
caravan.
I get 2. Yeah. See, I'm not a monk, but I can deflect arrows, dude. He's not even listening. He's not even listening to me. He doesn't even have his headphones on. But whatever.
Right?
Okay.
Dissonant whispers.
Dissonant
So
whispers at the guy. DC 14. Wisdom.
14. Ooh. That's a fail, but only just. Oh, that was
Nice.
exciting for a moment. Okay, so that's 3d6 psychic damage.
Correct. 3d6, and he's got to run away.
Aw, dude.
Yeah, and I don't know how the jumping from tree to tree is going to work out, but he might take a tumble.
Wow.
God damn it.
So we're going to start with the 3D. Oh, actually, we're going to start with, and I find it kind of funny. I find it kind of sad. The dreams in which you're dying are the best I've ever had.
Wow.
And that is 11.
11 damage. Right.
No, that was off. I don't know why. Like, I actually could sing that song normally. I don't know why I was.
Immediately turns and leaps from tree branch to tree branch, out of view as the leaves fall back into position and cover the one that you've managed to see. So next we have Eridu charging forward, acting on the same initiative as you is Silent. She climbs on top of the horse with her sword drawn, and leaps and grabs onto the tree that they seem to be firing from, and begins to climb.
Are there how low are the lowest branches on their tree?
The lowest branches are quite low down, about 5-6 feet off the ground.
Oh yeah, okay. I'm gonna jump up and start climbing those as well.
Nice.
Oh.
Give me an acrobatics check.
That would be a come on, Asa, do math. So 16.
Fantastic. All right, you can make considerable progress up there. In fact, you'll be able to get 15 feet up.
All right.
Unfortunately, you are not close enough to attack anyone straight away. And then we have Eigner.
All right. Well, I'm gonna follow through with my dodge action.
Mhm.
So I am getting wary with the shield. I got quick feet. I'm all well rested. I'm all ready to go. And honestly, yeah, I'm just trying to wait until enemies come to me, because I'm not gonna have any success getting up those trees and messing with them. Or even, I don't even want to throw my hand axes, because I could easily just lose them and shit, you know. So I'm waiting for my enemies to come down to me.
So, we've just had the first round. Second round, that they do seem to still be there firing arrows. What's everyone's plans?
Well, I might change my mind and try and throw one hand axe on my turn.
Okay.
Yeah.
If I go before Eigner, then I'm going to Bardic Inspiration him.
Cool.
And then I can't see them, so... Although, I mean, with the save, does it matter? I guess because I'm targeting them. Like, I would assume if I'm targeting them and I can't really see them, then they would have advantage on a save, right, against the spell.
So the...
Technically, it's not listed like that, but...
Is that with the Dissonant Whispers?
Yeah, because it's a save, it's not an attack. Because if I can't see them, it's a disadvantage, but if I
would go out on a limb and say with spells, typically you need to have line of sight to cast a spell. I want to say that's rules as intended.
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes... Except for... okay, unless I'm... Yeah, you're
yes.
right.
Like, most of the time it'll say, one creature you can see. But, in fact, with Dissonant Whispers, it's just within range that can hear.
Yeah.
So, as a matter of fact, with Dissonant Whispers, with Vicious Mockery, it does say one that you can
They
see.
have to see. Right. Right, but with Dissonant Whispers, it does not.
I get it, so because you're whispering.
Yeah. Because it's the only one creature of your choice within range can hear.
Okay.
So, I'm going to basically whichever one I feel is the biggest threat currently. Just taking a guess.
Well, because they're invisible to you.
Which one would I feel like is whichever one I feel like I have the best bead on, where I could go, I figured this is about where they are.
Roll me a d6.
A d6.
Yep.
6.
Okay. I hate rolling ones. Roll your 3d6.
I love you, Roman.
Roll my 3d6.
Psychic damage. No, wait, sorry, hold on. No, I'm jumping ahead of myself. So you're wanting to cast Dissonant Whispers. We haven't rolled initiative yet.
Exactly.
So throw in the
Giving
hand axe.
yourself a
Can
mulligan.
I take that though?
Alright, so I'm going to. Can I see any of them from where I'm at?
Dissonant Whispers. No. I would say you'd need to spend some time to try and find them. The heavy rain's going to give you disadvantage.
Well, I'm up in a tree. I figured.
That's a good point. In fact, while you're under the tree, the heavy rain no longer obscures you, so you won't have disadvantage on a spot check.
Even better. Okay, so while I'm climbing, I'll spot for them, and then I'm going to try to climb to the nearest one and grab him by... I want to do a way to make this an acrobatics check, not an athletics check. So I'm gonna find one, and I'm gonna attempt to do like a way of like hoisting myself up so I can kick him and like pretty much like knock him off his balance and hopefully knock him off the tree. But I wanted to do something that's not a strength check.
So you're basically trying to do the shove a creature skill thing, but acrobatics instead of athletics.
Exactly. So I guess probably what I'll do is I'll probably end up grabbing a branch and like twisting myself up so that I'm like, I guess almost doing like a handstand sort of kick.
Yeah, I'll allow that.
Yeah.
That sounds cool. Yeah, everyone roll for initiative. Let's do that.
All right, I got a 21.
Ooh,
Natural 21. Rolled a 20.
Natural 20.
not bad. I got a 16.
I rolled a natural 21. So there.
Well, I have a modifier of 0, so it's still a 20, but I got a natural 20. So
They still go first. Only just
Wow.
though.
faster than me.
They're elves or something like that.
I got 23.
Oh, nice. Holy crap.
Yeah. Okay, so so as a matter of fact, that's before the thing. Okay, so one on for God's sake, and then the other one on Okrim. Just gonna get you right. Okay. Another 2 arrows, one of which flies straight down at Eridu, but misses. I'm sure. Does it need to hit you for your grab an arrow out the air?
I would go ahead and say because I'm climbing, I doubt that would be a real good option for me right now.
So when you are hit by a ranged weapon attack.
Yes, it needs to hit me.
Yeah.
Okay, so it flies right by you. Fortunately, Okrim takes 6 hit points of damage
Ouch.
as an arrow slices through your arm. However, Eigner,
Yeah.
as you are getting a hand axe ready, you hear a rustling at the back of the wagon, and you see dark shadows silhouetted against the canvas.
Oh my goodness.
Then you see one of these dark shapes climb in through the back with 2 blades drawn, staring at the body and then you.
Oh dang.
Eridu,
Yes.
make your acrobatics check.
Yes, sir.
Then make a spot check, which probably should have come first.
Okay, well, the acrobatics is a 20, and the spot. Sorry, natural 20, so it's a 23.
Wow.
And the spot is actually a perception, and that's a 21.
You managed to spot, using your perception, 2 of these creatures up above you in the trees, within grabbing distance, in fact. So you were able to swing yourself from one branch onto another, swing around, and kick as you twist your body around, knocking one of them back off the branches. And he manages to grab a branch. Let's see how many feet. He manages to grab a branch 15 feet down, stop himself. You can tell that he's hurt, he's winded, but he's still in the fight. The other one, you notice, is a few branches higher up from you, and this one seems a little bulkier, a little more built, not as lithe as the others. But this one seems to have taken his hood down, and you can see his pointed ears and shocking white hair. It looks very much like a drow.
Drow.
Yeah. Okay.
Okrim.
Yeah.
Unless,
So-
Eridu, you want to spend a key point, take any bonus actions. Yeah, you still have some movement left, so you're able to.
Where is Salem at?
She's slightly lower down than you. She's still climbing.
Okay. And I, when I landed, did I land like on level with this one that I? There's two of them up here. I kicked one off. Did I land on level
Yep.
with the other one?
You're slightly below.
Okay. I'll look up at him, and I'll place my hand on my sword, making it, drawing attention to it intentionally, and say, I suggest that you all leave. Do not make me have to kill you.
See him grimace, and as his mouth opens, the jet black face gives way to these pearlescent white teeth. And as he begins to chuckle, we then move over to Okrim.
Okay, so first things first.
You're hooking me up.
Yeah, I'm gonna hook you up.
Hook me up.
I will hook you up. Yes.
Oh yeah. I got my D6.
Yeah, here, but I will. First things first. If I'm gonna hook you up first, then you get this. Hold on, where is it? Oh, Eigner hit him like a wrecking ball. Hit him so hard they won't know what to do.
Oh my god.
And the most disturbing image go through my head of Josh in lingerie swinging on a wrecking ball.
Just saying.
He's the real wrecking ball here.
We just lost an Asa.
We just lost Asa.
I do believe.
I'm sure he'll be back. It's a really dramatic
And
battle,
in greater numbers.
and he wouldn't want to miss out on this.
No.
So, alright, so Okrim hooks me up with some cool stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be a wrecking ball.
Yeah. So, and then for the dissonant whispers. Now, would I change with this guy? Would I have seen this guy? Because obviously, or would it not matter? I'm hitting the. Because my initial thought is hit the biggest threat. So if this guy popping out is the suddenly become the biggest threat, or is this happening all at once, and so therefore I maintain course?
It is happening all at once. So this person crawling into the back of Eigner's wagon happens at the same time as this person falling out of the tree, and then grabbing one of the branches lower down. To see the person higher up, still near Eridu, that would require a perception check.
Okay.
And it would be with disadvantage, because you still have the rain between you and him.
I clearly don't see him, because perception, you said?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think it's a 9. Yeah,
Greetings, Asa.
Yeah, it's a 9, so I don't see him.
Okay. So, who are you wanting to dissonantly whisper toward? I mean, you don't need to see this guy, but I would say that there's no way for you to know that he's definitely there either.
But I would hear the scream, right? He's hitting, and then if it's all happening at aroundish the same.
Yeah, there's a scream from the guy falling down the tree. Yeah, you can still see the guy that fell out the tree.
Yeah, hit that
fell
guy.
down the tree. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, hit that guy.
I'll roll a 16.
Okay, then I still roll d6, but it's half, and he does not run away. So, yeah. Let me start with that. So that's 5 damage total. And I lost my train of like all that going on. I lost my train of thought on what I was gonna sing. So we'll just play it.
Bam.
So you've given Bardic Inspiration, you cast Dissonant Whispers, and then we have Eigner, whose course of action was to throw a hand axe. So he can continue to throw a hand axe. You can see plainly a target in the trees.
Yeah. No. no, well,
Don't use your action.
now I've turned around, but that's the thing is I've turned around and I've seen this dude. Is he like on top of the wagon, pretty much above me?
No, he's crawled in to the inside of the wagon, so he's
crawled
on
in.
level
So-
with you. He's
oh,
in the wagon.
Okay, wait. All right, so you're talking about I can only see his silhouette, or I can see him.
You could see his silhouette while he was coming through, and then
Yeah.
now he's in, so you can see him.
Yeah. Well, I'm throwing a hand axe directly at him.
Okay, the first hand axe, your target was towards the tree,
Yeah.
so that'll need to go there. But you can action surge, and do you get second attack at third level as standard?
Yeah, I don't have second attack. Okay, so you're saying if
Oh,
I
was
don't
kinda
throw
hoping that you did.
if I don't throw the hand axe in the original target, then I have to like give up that action and use an action surge.
That's
Okay,
right.
it's worth it. That's worth it for me because I got this inspiration to use.
Yeah.
So let me just make sure I'm looking at the right number. Oh gosh.
Well, in theory, you could throw the hand axe and then move action surge.
Yeah, so you can throw the hand axe at the one that's still in the tree,
Oh.
and then turn and action surge and fight the one that's in the wagon with you.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh wait.
So
Oh, okay. And I'm in the wagon. I thought I was like on the ground. Okay. All right. I'm understanding stuff now.
Yeah.
All right. So I'll just do my regular hand axe attack, and that's an 18, 23 to their AC.
That
and
hits.
Sick. That will do 8 damage, and then I will use my action surge. I will move as much as I need. Pull out my fancy new Talon blade. And also, Eigner was thinking about this. He's like not really counting on anything special from the blade for right now because we're in such thick foliage and there's rain. Like, there's no way that the moonlight can hit the blade. So he's just like, just using it more as a sword. But he's like really gonna try and delve into, find out what's so special about this sword later.
Okay.
Yeah.
Make an attack roll.
I will take the D6
You can
inspiration.
wait until after you
for- yeah, I
roll.
suppose.
Remember.
Oh my god. It's a 1. So I just won't
Well,
use
then
it.
don't use the bardic
And
inspiration on that.
I won't use it. Okay. So I just rolled nat 1 on my attack roll on my action surge. That hurts. Hurts.
That is a shame.
That's a shame.
But as you spot the intruder in the wagon turning back to the one in the tree, you throw your hand axe, spins, strikes into the thing's back.
Ooh.
As it lets out a
Wilhelm
lets go of the
scream.
branch and clumps to the ground.
All right.
You can tell that your axe struck it just as it was beginning to feel an immense amount of pain in its head. As it hits the ground, you notice that Okrim's lips were moving. Then your mind returns to the intruder behind you.
Yeah.
You turn, draw your sword, charge towards him, and as you swing your blade, he brings up both of his to cross them over and parries your blow.
Wow.
What's everyone doing now?
I'm going to communicate with this drow here. Now, is drow like sign language still a thing?
Simon?
Wow,
It
that's
was
good.
like I think it was 3.5 was the last time I remember it being a thing, but drow had a specific language that they spoke through just with essentially sign language, so they could speak silently while they were doing like their drow things.
I don't think so, actually.
I don't recall seeing anything about it for a long time. In fact, I don't even remember seeing much about it in 3rd edition.
It's in lore. It's just not
Yeah.
necessarily in.
Would we like it to be in lore in our world?
Ooh.
It sounds kind of cool.
Yeah, I kind of do.
Is it
All
something? Is it something that Eridu would really know about?
Yes, it's something
Yeah.
Eridu would definitely know.
Okay.
So I'm thinking what Eridu is going to do is just call out assailant about the one that fell about 15 feet, and then I'm going to communicate with this drow through sign language, so that assailant can't hear what we're talking about.
Okay.
I will only ready an action to attack him if he attacks me, and all of my attacks will be more of a dodge effect, like more like I'm. Actually, no, I'll take my action to dodge. That's what I'll do.
Yeah.
Okay.
So any of his attacks will be a disadvantage, but other than that, I'm just going to communicate with him.
All right. Josh, what are your plans? You'll be able to see Eigner's moving towards.
Yeah. That's what I'm.
And in fact, you'll be able to see around the wagon. There's another 2 on the ground, ready to climb into the wagon.
Oh, then Dissonant Whispers, one of them.
Distant whispers. Yep.
Well, I have the spell slots now, and I need to pull some off of the back of Eigner.
It is effective. I mean, we can't argue with the fact that it is a very effective spell.
I would have Vicious Mockery them, but yeah.
You have the
And
slots.
Eigner still has his Bardic Inspiration, so
Yeah.
there's no need to give him that.
So, Eigner, any plans with this melee combatant in front of you?
I'm just messing this dude up. Actually, I don't know. I might try and do like a little battle action to like disarm him or something. Like, yeah, whatever check that might be.
That
Might look
is
it up.
an attack roll, but instead of doing damage, you then make an athletics check, I believe. It's an optional rule in the DMG. I will quickly look it up while we all roll for initiative.
Okay.
17.
I have an 11.
13.
An 11.
So, 13, 11, 17 was that, Asa?
Yeah.
And... oh my...
That didn't sound good, or did it sound good? I don't know.
Super good.
No,
You're all
like,
gonna die.
I've been rolling quite well with these guys for a little while now, especially when it comes to the initiative, and I've rolled a 7, which means that from going first 3 rounds running, they are now going last,
Wow.
and it just makes me sad. Okay, so Eridu, you are first.
All right. So Eridu is going to forego the obvious questions like "Why are you here?" And he's going to sign to this elf.
The
What will we
drow?
learn? This drow, sorry. What
drows.
will we learn from Talon?
Wow.
And
Straight,
this is in
straight to
sign.
the point, dude.
Yeah.
Hardcore.
While shouting, "Silent! There is one down there." That wasn't his voice. Silent! There is one down there. There you go.
It sounded
He
okay.
signs back to you. Our concern is not his words.
Then what?
The actions of his blood. And you'll recognize from the sign that the blood is a more familial thing.
Yeah.
But he makes no move to attack you. He seems to relish the moment of peace, and you can see that he's kind of soaking in the sounds of battle down below. He seems to almost be at peace with the violence around him.
What actions would the Takentires take?
Ones that lead to bloodshed.
You are trying to prevent war.
He doesn't answer.
It's more of a, not more of a, more of a statement than a question anyway.
Yes. We'll
I think that's probably enough for a turn right there.
Yeah, we'll skip to Okrim at this point, but just before the round ends, we'll quickly revisit. So Okrim, you're next. So your plan was
Send
for...
whispers on one of the two guys that are about to join Eigner.
Okay. Roll a 17.
Okay,
Six.
so they still take half damage at the very least. So that is round up or round down.
Round up.
Okay, 6. So it's less effectively. I say everything is awesome. Everything is cool when you run away from your team. Everything is awesome when you're living out and not dying here. And then
You gotta work on that ending a little
Wow.
Yeah.
well, I came up with that like just this like last.
He charges around the wagon and then skids as he drops his sword and grabs his head instead.
Okay. Still kind of effective.
I mean, it still does damage. It's just
Yeah.
not, he's not
Eigner.
bolting out of here.
Okay, so what's the official stuff on disarm?
So the official stuff on disarm is you use your weapon to attack their weapon. So you make an attack roll contested by... so rather than armor class, it's contested by my guys' strength, athletics, or dexterity, acrobatics, my choice.
Oh, great.
And if you win the contest, the attack does no damage, but they drop the weapons.
Cool. All the weapons. He's dual wielding. So I
Well,
can
it
be
says
like,
drops the item, but since he's using his weapons in sort of like a dual motion thing, both.
I'm gonna get them both. All right, so here we go. Oh, I'm gonna
Beat
definitely.
13.
Well, hold on. That's mega not working. Ugh. I only rolled 1 on my inspiration die. Ugh. 7. Dude, that's only like 12. Oh my
I rolled
gosh.
13.
Oh my god. I failed by such a narrow margin. That sucks. That sucks, dude. Okay.
As you move your sword, you can see a glint in his eye that makes him realize what it is that you're trying to do. And so, as he brings up his swords to block, he crosses them over to the point where they separate, loop around, and then he drags your sword down to the ground. It doesn't disarm you, but it throws you really off balance and makes your
Yeah.
attack ineffective.
For sure. Lame,
Oh,
dude.
man.
I wish I had an action surge right now. Wow. Guess I wish I did. Well, at least I got him like totally engaged, and he's not going to go hurt anyone else for the moment. At least there's that.
As much as I am loath to do this, we are going to end with the last bit of conversation between this drow and Eridu, and end partway through combat.
Yet another cliffhanger.
Good place to do that. All right.
It's a good one.
So he's receptive to discussing things. He's still standing there, but he didn't respond after your last.
Right, my assertion. I will do what I can to mitigate the Takantire's response if your men will pull out and let us finish this.
He responds using his hand gestures that the best way for you to do that would be to destroy the corpse.
Again, what will the corpse tell us that will cause the Takantire to respond in a violent manner?
He looks around, looks down, sees that Silin is climbing down the tree to go and help with the combat on the ground. And so leans in close to you. I
I think you and I both know this ain't gonna turn out right for anybody.
That's a voice.
We're the drow from the south.
Everybody's got a south, right?
Yep.
Yeah, dude. The south.
Was Talon... Was he more friendly to the drow than the Takantires realize? Will this put shame to the name of the Takantires?
I reckon we need to talk. And at this, he turns, places a hand on the tree, turns back to you, and pulls out a small clay tile, which he crushes in his hand. His hand begins to sink into the tree. And we'll end there.
Okay.
Wow.
Man, that's a good cliffhanger. All right, cool.